Hello, I'm Achut Nair from Nair's Aviation Ground School. This is the 36th video in a new series of educational and informative aviation videos for the aspiring pilot. Aviation is defined by the pilots, and some would argue, more importantly, by the aircraft that allow us pilots to exist. Airplanes have captured the imagination of millions around the world like no other machine or technological development. And for most of us, one airplane provided that first step into the wide world of flight. This video is about the Cessna 172. The Cessna 172 Skyhawk is an American four-seat, single-engine, high-wing, fixed-wing aircraft made by the Cessna Aircraft Company. First flown in 1955, more 172s have been built than any other aircraft in the world. Measured by its longevity and popularity, the Cessna 172 is the most successful aircraft in history. Cessna delivered the first production model in 1956, and as of 2015, the company and its partners had built more than 44,000 aircraft. The aircraft remains in production today. Since 1955, it has continued to reach new heights and dominate the aviation industry for over half a century. The 172 started life as a tricycle landing gear variant of the taildragger Cessna 170 with a basic level of standard equipment. In January 1955, Cessna flew an improved variant of the Cessna 170, a Continental O300A powered Cessna 170C with larger elevators and a more angular tailfin. Before the aircraft was green-lighted for production, Cessna decided to modify it with a tricycle landing gear, and the modified 170C flew again on 12th June 1955. To reduce the time and cost of certification, the new type was added to the Cessna 170 type certificate as a Model 172. Later, the 172 was given its own type certificate, 3A12. The 172 became an overnight sales success, and over 1,400 were built in 1956, its first full year of production. Over the years, Cessna has released at least 18 variants or updated 172 models. These models have introduced many small adjustments and changes. They started with the 172A model in 1960, adding a full swept-back tailfin and rudders and float fittings. And though everyone knows the 172 as the Skyhawk today, that name did not come into use until late 1960. Cessna was prepping the 1961 model, the 172B. They wanted to offer a deluxe option. It would include full exterior paint instead of the standard partial paint stripes and enhanced avionics. The deluxe model was dubbed the 172 Skyhawk, and from that point on, the Cessna 172 and the Skyhawk basically became inseparable. "1963 saw the release of the 172D. This model had a lower rear fuselage, one-piece windshield, and a wraparound rear window Cessna dubbed the Omnivision. Cessna built its 50,000th aircraft in 1963, which just happened to be a 172. The 172F in 1965 introduced electric flaps, replacing the previous lever-operated system. In 1968, Cessna canceled its contract with Continental and turned instead to Lycoming engines. The 172I became the first 172 to support the new Lycoming O320 E2D 150 horsepower engine, and so productions of the 172 continued, with a new model every 2 to 3 years until 1986. Cessna's primary production model was now the 170Q, dubbed the Cutlass, but it was to be their last 172 model for over a decade. legal liability rulings in the US started pushing Cessna's insurance costs up way too high, so they shut down manufacturing of single-engine aircraft in 1986. In 1994, hope appeared on the horizon in the form of the General Aviation Revitalization Act. This legislation served to reduce the liability faced by aircraft manufacturers. There is some debate on how much overall effect it actually had on aircraft manufacturing. However, Cessna was able to resume production of 3 of its single-engine aircraft, the 172, the 182, and the 206. With bold promises from Cessna that they had built the best Skyhawk yet, the 172R was released in 1996. It had many interior improvements, such as better soundproofing, a multi-level ventilation system, and a standard 4-point intercom system. The 172R was also the first 172 to sport a factory-fitted, fuel-injected engine, the 160 horsepower Lycoming IO 360 L2A. Two years later, the Cessna released the 172S. They changed out the engine for a 180 horsepower Lycoming IO 360 L2A model. This model had stayed Cessna's primary production model since 1998. Starting in 2007, the 172S began coming standard with the Garmin G1000 avionics package and leather seats, and featured a price tag of $307,500. As of today, the Cessna 172 Skyhawk is the only 172 model in active production. Cessna 172s have become a vital part of the fabric of the aviation world. It is a superlative aircraft. In fact, a Cessna 172 was used in 1958 to set the world record for flight endurance. The record still stands. On December 4th, 1958, Robert Tim and John Cook took off from McCarran Airfield in Las Vegas, Nevada, in a used 172, registration number N9172B. They landed back at McCarran Airfield on February 4th, 1959, after 64 days, 22 hours, 19 minutes, and 5 seconds in flight. The flight was part of a fundraising effort for the Damon Runyon Cancer Fund. Food and water were transferred by matching speeds with a chase car on a straight stretch of road in the desert and hoisting the supplies aboard with a rope and bucket. Fuel was taken on by hoisting a hose from a fuel truck up to the aircraft, filling an auxiliary belly tank installed for the flight, pumping that fuel into the aircraft's regular tanks, and then filling the belly tank again. The Cessna 172, with its widespread industry presence, is attractive to militaries around the world. In 1964, the U.S. Air Force decided that they wanted to start using the standard Cessna 172F as a trainer aircraft for student pilots, rather than starting them off in the T-37 jet trainer. So, the USAF purchased 207 172F aircraft from Cessna. These military 172s were designated the Cessna T-41A Mescalero. The first class of USAF students started their training with a T-41 on August 1965 in Big Springs, Texas. A couple of years later, Cessna provided the U.S. Army with a T-42B. This was the first model designated specifically for the military. It replaced the 145 horsepower Continental O300 engine and fixed pitch propeller of the T-41A with a 210 horsepower Continental IO360 engine and a constant speed propeller. 250 of these high-powered trainer aircraft were built. In 1968, the USAF decided they needed the extra power and ordered the same 52 trainers. These trainers, designated the T-41C, had the same 210 horsepower engine as the T-41B. Finally, in 1996, the T-41 series produced one final model, the T-41D. It came with upgraded avionics and a constant speed propeller. Many international air forces, including Austria, Greece, Singapore, and Chile, purchased various civilian models of the 172. These were used in military training, transport, and liaison roles. The U.S. military also exported a number of T-41 variants to friendly nations under the Military Assistance Program. Today, most of these aircraft are not only in good condition, but remain in active service with most militaries. The Cessna 172 Skyhawk has been ruling the aviation industry since it was first manufactured and has been widely used for general rental, flight instruction, and family transport. Newer models of the 172 are in popular demand since they are affordable, simple to handle, and are the perfect aircraft for a small family today. The Cessna 172 Skyhawk is justifiably one of the best aviation aircraft in the world and is loved by thousands of pilots around the world due to its reliability and endurance. For more information, please contact us at liftanddrag@gmail.com and visit our website at nyersaviation.webnode.com. Also visit our YouTube channel at Nyers Aviation. Thank you, safe flying.